So, working on shaders. Currently, I'm busy working on improving the shaders for the Raytraced viewport mode. I have here a test scene with some objects and several materials. I have the materials here. Ignore the preview rendering. The current renderer is set to Rhino render, and I haven't done proper simulation generation of my custom shaders yet. So let's see, let's open Grasshopper, and then I'm working in this Grasshopper definition with all shaders for the basic materials. So we have here metal, glass, plaster, paint, plastic, picture, and custom I will do at some point as well. But I have them all in the same scene, so I can work on these shaders and see how they interact together. I've been working on glass. Let's see, I have to get back my sun. Okay, now let's put it here. Okay, so we have sunlight and we have a glass material here, and I have created the glass in such a way that we can also light through glass. By default, the Cycles render engine glass material is kind of opaque. You can see through it but not light through it. So we first have here a way to weight it with a transparent shader as well. But then I was thinking that the result we got was pretty much, how shall I say, just uniform color, and that's not really nice when you have these curved parts in glass objects. You'd expect a little bit darker around here. So I've been working on that now. But I don't really like the pronounced shadow you get from the shadow, or from the Fresnel layer weighting. So let's put this on glass. So I think I actually want to use this one. It still is not proper caustics effects, but there's now a nicer gradient between like the hard edge of the shadow towards the light. I have to probably tweak a little bit still how much of the light gets through, but this actually looks pretty good in my opinion. So I have another object here, sphere, and the box, both with the glass shader. So just to show the difference, let's zoom in a bit better, like this. With Fresnel it looks like this, really hard, kind of ugly looking. I don't like this myself. Also this side here gets really dark. Let's choose phasing, much better. The overall color through the through the shader, through the object, gets also a bit darker, but I think this is quite acceptable. Let's see. So if we change the color here, we see nicely coloring off of the object. Let's keep it on a clear glass color for now. So, and here's still the effects of IOR. Let's put it down. Like so. I guess this works out pretty fine. important to notice also that reflections even through this glass object work still fine. In my current iteration, that's currently in the Rhino whip build, many of these reflections, even textured channels, turn up completely black in reflections. I think this now looks pretty good. Let's see. Here's one instance of our metal. For this I actually also have bumped up the amount of glossy bounces. It used to be for this final quality on 4, but then you would have 1, 2, 3. On here we already have black, and that we don't want. So I've bumped up the glossy bounces amount for this type of shaders. Okay, on metal I don't think we need to do much at the moment. This is just meant to be a conversion of the Rhino basic metal material. We have color input, I'll leave just at that, and then roughness. And I think actually that the roughness, the usable range really is in here. So I'll add again a conversion, and I will do that on the code side, but this will essentially be mapped to a curve such that this area gets kind of stretched out more. So this is really rough. Halfway through, and I think this is already very rough. 1/10. So there will be kind of mapping on a curve, so that the useful range, this bit, gets stretched out. Right. Let's see. Diffuse for the plaster. 1. I don't think there's anything special about that. It's just a diffuse shader. Nothing else. We don't play with roughness, nor really with the normal input. Now let's work on this picture shader. So currently it's UV mapped image. I have it set here. I put into an emission shader and then connect it to the output. Let's put it like so. There's one problem with it, and I'm going to solve that now. So let me make the problem apparent. So let's have the sun go down, like so. And then let's tweak the environment a bit. Well, let's not do that like this. I added these jumps for a reason. Right. So let's just disconnect this one, so that we essentially won't have any lighting. The background will be black, and it will contribute no lighting. And here we can see that the picture shader is now lighting the scene, and that we actually don't want. We only want it to be kind of shakeless shader. So we need to fix that. Let's do that right now. So this emission shader we should use only when we are using the camera ray. So on first impact, and then possibly on glossy bounce as well, so that, for instance, these reflections stay also properly colored. So let's go in here, add at least one blend, a diffuse and a light path. Let's add those to the group like so. So we first will make sure that so we will have this as color input. This will be just the diffuse because there's no lighting. We see nothing here. But let's do it in such a way that when we have camera array, we use this, and for other arrays, we use the diffuse. So it's camera array, and then okay. So now we see we have only the camera array, but we'd still want to the reflections to show up nicely. So I think we could add here our maximum operator. Let's put in the glossy array and the camera array. Much better. So this will give us nice shadeless effect in both the first hit and in glossy hits. It does add a bit to the lighting. There's much more diffuse lighting here. So I think that's acceptable compared to what we had before with this one directly going into the output, lighting too much from the entire object. So like so. I think this is looking pretty nice. Let's save that. Let's go back to our environment and turn it on again, essentially. Now we have really only environment lighting, no shadow, no sun really. So let's turn on the sun by letting it rise. So nice white light. Let's check again. It's looking pretty uniform now here. Oh. Let's see what happens when I move this sphere. Can move it. Oh. Okay, so what I'm now doing is I'm trying to get this sphere to cast its shadow on this new shader, picture shader, and see what it's doing. I guess this is how it should work, really. So the shadeless shader, or this picture shader, now stays nice unshaded, and that's really what we want. I think I'm happy with this. Let's put our ball back on top of our glass. There we have it. A bit misaligned, I guess. No, it's fine. think the reflections also look good. See, what do we have here? Ah, that's our paint. So yeah, that's fine. Also looks good. I think we just need to, for this kind of very glossy areas, we just need to let it render for a longer time. Yes, so I think this is now looking fine. So I think I'll be using then, let's go back to, so this will be then the picture shader. I'll show also that XML for it. That's what is being used now. It's being set to that material directly. This is our shader, essentially. And we have our glass over here. So I think these two now work really fine. I guess I'm going to call glass picture metal and plaster now complete. See. Okay, so I suppose next up will be plastic. I already created one quite intricate plastic shader. Let me see if I can find an old demo of it. I'll be moving it to this one. Next up. Where do I have it? Right. So I found it. Let me get it. I'll just put this in here. So here's one shader I worked on. It should work fine. Yes, I'll be moving this shader definition to this file so that we can have a nice plastic. It will be this red one, I think. Let's see. No, it's paint, so it's this blue one. So I'll be going to do that in a moment. But first, a break. Thank you for watching.